Welcome to Round Glass. I'm Jon Aaron. Thanks for joining me for this session on bringing kindness to it all, part of this ongoing series on finding the stillness within. If you could pick a word, one word right now to describe how you're feeling, what would that be? So I know when I first started meditating, the inner critic, which I've talked about before, was pretty strong. And resistance was pretty strong whenever I would meet some obstacle. And finally, I realized, through the help of a number of teachers, that what was missing was actually any form of self-compassion and kindness. And so one of the keys to finding stillness within is really turning toward whatever our experience is with a heart of kindness and receiving everything with kindness. So I see some of you are feeling mellow. It's nice, but others are feeling restless and tired. Some are rested. So this is an opportunity then to just be present with whatever you're feeling. So even if you're feeling restless, can we turn toward that with kindness? So we'll have time after the meditation for questions. But for now, I'm just inviting you to get settled, finding a posture which is relaxed yet alert, whether you're sitting on the floor or in a chair. An upright posture, a distinguished posture. Posture that lets the body know it's going to be meditating, while at the same time brings kindness to yourself, so you want to be comfortable. Nothing should be forced. You can either have the eyes closed or open. It's particularly useful to have the eyes a little bit open, especially if you're feeling tired. And just being aware of what's in your environment. What's the quality of the air, the temperature of the air? What sounds are present? How is the mind just now? Is there a particularly predominant emotion? Some of you have said that the mind was restless. Is there an underlying mood? And dropping into the body and noticing how the body is. Are you holding tension in the face, the jaw, the eyes, the shoulders? Giving yourself permission to soften. Yet another way of bringing kindness to our practice. Taking a few deep and deliberate breaths. And then allowing the breath to find what it needs. Allow the breath to breathe itself, and recognizing that every breath itself is an act of kindness. if it's comfortable and available for you, resting the awareness on the breath as a starting point, just to settle the mind. And maybe considering, as you're doing this, consider and recall all the ways in which you've been kind to yourself in these last few, well, let's say the last few days. Unconditionally kind, not kind because you deserved it for some reason, but just kind because you're you. How is that kindness felt in the body, in the heart space? Are you able to allow that feeling to imbue the whole body? And if there are moments when resistance arises, say resistance to a sensation that's arising or resistance to some challenging emotion which might be present, can we be kind to the resistance and actually turn toward the emotion with that same kindness? And if it's a physical sensation, you can imagine the breath holding this sensation as if it were cradling a child, just caring for this sensation in a kindly way. So our habit of mind generally is to turn away from that which is challenging, of course. But with these practices, as perhaps you've discovered already, we're learning to turn toward, but we're learning to turn toward our experience with this kindly curiosity. And part of that kindness also means, particularly if it's a challenging emotion or challenging physical sensation, means that we can touch into it. We don't have to dive full-fledged into this challenge. But we can touch into it and then come back to a part of the experience which isn't so challenging. So if it's a physical sensation, we can recall that we have a whole body. And so while our knee, for instance, might be in pain, and we can hold that in kindness. We can be curious about what the experience is. But we can also remember that we have a whole body, and the whole body can actually provide some space for the pain in the knee. So just sitting with awareness on the breath, or perhaps at this point opening the awareness up a bit more. Whenever resistance is experienced, whenever a challenge arises, emotional or physical, see what happens when you turn toward this with a kindly awareness, a kindly curiosity. You can touch into that which is challenging and then open up to the broader experience. Just checking in and noticing if the mind has wandered away, perhaps become engaged in planning, worry, fantasizing, and gently come back to this moment, to this breath. Our practice is treating ourselves as our own best friend. All aspects of ourselves. Kindness at times may come in the form of fierce compassion, particularly if we're turning toward something that has come up which we have a really hard time accepting. That we'd much rather turn away from. It takes a certain level of courage to turn toward it, to accept it as it is, and bring this kindly curiosity to it. With each breath, being present with the unfolding of life, moment to moment. If we receive the breath as an act of kindness, then each breath is imbued with kindness. And that breath goes to every cell in the body. And with each out breath, we can extend that kindness to others. Extending that kindly acceptance, and at times that fierce compassion to those near and dear to us, even to those who are distant and unknown. You might even recall, especially in these past months during the pandemic, when contact was made with people we didn't even know. Such appreciation. Appreciation and kindness for those people in our lives that we don't even see, but who make our lives possible. With each in-breath, kindness infusing the body, imbuing the body. With each out breath, kindness radiating outward. Just for the last few minutes of our practice, see what it feels like to bring a slight Mona Lisa smile to the face. Notice what that shifts. Kind of an external reflection of the kindness that you may be feeling internally. The Dalai Lama is noted as saying that his religion is kindness. So perhaps for these last minutes, reflecting on where kindness is lacking in your life. Is it toward yourself? Is it toward another? Or is it lacking just toward an experience? What would shift if in those moments of challenge, whether emotional or physical or intellectual even, we brought kindness into the equation? Tuning in every moment to what's present in the heart space. Is it kindness or is it resistance? And so when we speak about sharing the merit of our practice, the merit that we gain from our practice, one of the ways that merit is shared is through acts of kindness and through just a kindly presence. That includes the kindly presence for yourself as well as the kindly presence for those all around you. This is true sharing of the merit. So I encourage you to just consider kindness in your life. We may, of course, always consider ourselves to be kind, but the real question is, we can be kind in very sort of normal circumstances, but can we be kind when we're in the midst of struggle? Can we be kind to ourselves? Can we be kind to others? And if not, sort of what's getting in the way of that? Where is that resistance coming from? So if any of you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But I encourage you to, as we go forward in our practice, to really consider, what came up in today's practice and how can you continue to cultivate that? What did you discover during today's practice? I know for me, when I am, sort of entering my meditation at a time of lots of busyness going on, then if I forget to bring kindness into the equation, I really suffer. So of course there are these traditional phrases of loving kindness, which are, of course, phrases of kindness. And for many people, those can act as a mantra. One way I tend to practice that is, as I breathe in, I wish myself well. I bring kindness to myself. As I breathe out, I wish others well. Breathing in, may I be well. Breathing out, may others be well. It's a really lovely mantra. It's also helps with concentration. It's like drinking herbal tea. You're bringing something in, it's helping you cultivate kindness for yourself, and you're extending that outward. This is particularly helpful, I find, for new meditators. It was something that I don't remember learning myself at the beginning, was this idea of the practice being a practice of kindness. And we spend so much time worrying about holding the awareness on the breath that we forget to do it in a kindly way. We forget, in fact, that the breath itself is kindness. The breath keeps us alive. We don't have to think about breathing. The body breathes. Can we bring kindness to that? Can we receive that as kindness, and can we be kind back? So particularly as the world is reopening, well, most of the world, and we really have to offer kindness to those parts of the world that are suffering still. Millions of people still suffering. We need to open our heart of kindness in whatever way that feels for you, whatever your response to that is. This is essential. And realize that as we're sitting in meditation, we're in fact contributing kindness to the world, even though we may not see it, we may not experience it directly. So thank you for joining me. Please feel free, and I hope you follow my profile on the round tree, the round glass website and the app, and I look forward to seeing you in a future meditation. Take care, be kind, and be well.